Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are MC.
Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. It is another beautiful day in California's East Bay, and with a victory today, that would be 4 winning road series for the Royals over their last 5. And hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Joel Goldberg is coming up. Well, I guess we're all kind of dreading the stretch that the Royals are finishing up right now. 17 of 22 on the road, and yet the Royals are 8-3 so far in that stretch.
Yes, they're playing good baseball all the way around, Rhino, but it's all about series victories. You know, the sooner you get that done, the better. They don't care where they're playing or what color the uniform is of the other team. Just get the series, and they can do it today.
And the Royals have won their last 3 series against the Oakland A's. Our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard, gosh, it seems like just yesterday the Royals were losing 9 of 11, struggling to score runs, and now they've won 12 of their last 17.
Yes, and it's a beautiful thing when you get run support. Look at those runs per game. When that's over your ERA as a team, you're going to win most of those games. And they're doing it with a nice, simple formula. Frenzy-style hitting, talent from 1 to 9 in this lineup. They're getting it done. And if they take a walk, that's great. They have faith the next guy can do it. This team is starting to gel offensively again, and that bodes well for that pitching staff.
All 9 starters had at least 1 hit last night. All right, Chris Young today, interesting. In a pitcher's ballpark during the night, but a hitter's ballpark during the day. We'll see what happens. The first pitch is coming up next. Uverse high-speed internet. The Uverse revolves around you. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. By your local Kansas City Chevy dealers. Come visit for great prices on all the new 2015 Chevy vehicles. And by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. From the Bay Bridge to inside the Coliseum, where Joel Goldberg is standing just outside the Royals dugout. Good afternoon, Joel.
Hi, Ryan, and that also means I'm standing not too far from the bullpen. Chris Young is finishing up his warm-up tosses. Talking to him yesterday about his last start, fastball command wasn't there. I said, any adjustments? And he stopped me immediately and he said, no adjustments at all. He said, you ever wake up, just have a bad day? He said, that's what happened. He's ready to put that behind him. He's been through it all in his career, so nothing new. As for Ned Yost, the Royals are staying at the same hotel over in San Francisco as the Colorado Rockies, who are facing the Giants. The Rockies their pitching coach is Steve Foster, used to be the bullpen coach of the Royals, and Foster stopped Ned Yost and said, how does Chris Young do it? And Ned said, I don't know. It's a lot of things. He's definitely unique, and there's the deception and all the things that we've talked about, but they're looking for more of that today. One guy we won't see today in the lineup, Billy Butler. I mentioned that to his good friend Alex Gordon, and Alex, tongue-in-cheek, says, yep, Billy can't do those night-day games. Ryan?
Yeah, that probably didn't come from Billy. I'm sure he's dying that he's on the bench and not playing today. Here's the Royals batting order presented by State Farm. And the same batting order that produced 5 runs, 11 hits, and 2 home runs in taking game 1 from the A's 5-2. And during the last homestand, the Royals had a tough time against right-hand pitcher Jesse Hahn. They took care of that last night. They also had a tough time against lefty Scott Kazmir.
Yep, he's got the 10th lowest opponent's batting average in the American League with 223. So he's going to be a test. There's no doubt about it. He's got a good fastball. He's not overpowering anymore. He'll go 90 to 95 at times, but he's better in the low 90s. Pound the ball down with that fastball. Got a little two-seamer. He'll cut it. He's got a changeup and a curve he'll mix in as well. And the team has really struggled defensively behind him. And he's hoping for an airtight defense that'll help him.
Oakland A's have allowed the most unearned runs in the major leagues, and they added to that total last night with 2 more. Escobar last night was 1 for 5 with a run scored, and I got some clarity as to why A's fans are booing him. Last night we were saying, well, what are you booing Esky for? He was the guy that had his knee slid into by Brett Lawrie and had to miss a couple of games. Fouls away the first pitch of the game, 0-1. And the answer was that from the A's point of view, Brett Lawrie apologized to Escobar. Remember, there was that text which Brett Lawrie thought was rude, which Escobar denies sending back to Brett Lawrie. So that's why A's fans are so upset with Escobar. Got it?
Yeah, that makes sense. People are paying attention, and that's good.
Maybe too much attention.
Likes to use that slider on righties and the big curveball on lefties. He's got a nice changeup, too, that he works in there. 75 to 77 miles an hour. He'll slow down his arm speed, but I don't know if it's in time for hitters to be able to pick it up.
Up the right field line, foul over to the Royals bullpen.
Kazmir has had trouble with batters that lead off an inning. He's given up a .563 slugging percentage to those guys leading off an inning. So in Escobar, he's been getting on base a lot with his first time up.
Going to be a tough play for Kazmir. He's going to let it roll, and it stays fair right on the edge of the grass.
That's a knock. Nothing better. Couldn't have bunted it any better, I don't think.
Number 8, Mike.
I don't think Escobar could have stood at the plate and had a ball in his hand and rolled it. Yet he did it with the swing skills. That's all Kazmir could do. It's a pocket ball.
So here's what we were talking about back in April, giving up just 2 earned runs and 7 in the 3rd innings. He left the game with a 2-1 lead, but the Royals lit up the A's bullpen and ended up winning that game 4-2 and winning the series. Kazmir is winless in his last 5 starts against the Royals. Oh-2 on Mike Moustakas. He was on base twice last night. He had an infield single to extend his hitting streak to 10 games. And he also reached with a walk.
Curveballs are Kazmir's go-to pitches against lefties, especially in scoring position.
One and two. Josh Phegley is the A's catcher today.
Really important for the left-handers facing Kazmir to keep that shoulder in and look for the height on that curveball. If it starts out around your head, it's going to be hittable. If it's around your waist, try to let it go. It's going to be a ball. Picking up that release point is key, and this is a good ballpark during the day. Hitters can see the ball cleanly.
Going around. Third base umpire is Paul Schreiber.
See it. It's easier said than done. A little bit of indecision there for Moose.
Number 6, Lorenzo Cain.
Another guy, right-handers, you want to see him up. Make sure you see that ball up out of the release point, same as a lefty, except he's going to pound righties in really hard with his fastball and then set up the changeup away. That's his method to madness against righties. He's got a pretty aggressive cutter that he'll also feature out there coming in on righties.
And it was a pitch in on Lorenzo Cain, which threw some more gasoline on the fire in the final game between the Royals and the A's at Kauffman Stadium, hitting Cain on the leg early in the game.
That's the one. I don't know if the hitters can see that, but I could see him slowing his arm motion down in that pitch there. Sometimes after your first time around with the guy that particular day, you're going to kind of, just see as many pitches as you can without taking that cookie. And then the second and third times where you mop him up.
Look out.
Empty seat.
Look at how dangerous the end of that bat is. And of course, that's a touchy subject now after what happened to that woman in Boston who suffered life-threatening injuries, and thankfully she's all right now. But you have the barrel end of the bat, which is very hard and dangerous, and then you have the sharp end of the bat, which might be even more dangerous.
Yeah, the young lady, she's walking up on her own power and just looked like she got a little bit of the bat, not the bat end. Yep, hitters see that all the time, but fans don't, not in their lap in a game.
Very high to left field. This is a very difficult sun field, but at the moment there's quite a bit of cloud cover. Ben Zobrist is grateful for that. 2 down. Royals had quite a turnaround on Wednesday, and we started that broadcast reminding you that the Royals had been winless in their previous 7 starts against lefties, and it looked like it was going to be 8 in a row. Roenis Elias pitched 3 perfect innings, but in the 4th the Royals scored 7 runs and knocked Elias out of the game.
It can happen in a heartbeat with this offense, and it all starts with a hit like that.
That'll send Escobar to third base. First and third, 2 down.
And even with 2 outs, these Royals are dangerous. They can mount rallies no matter how many, but the 2-out ribbies they've collected this year has been special. Hosmer looking early for a cookie. All hitters have been swinging first pitch on Kazmir. Stayed inside the ball. He told me before the game that was going to be his focus. I'm not going to try to pull him. I'm going to try to see him to the opposite field. That's going to keep that shoulder tucked a little longer. Good approach.
Kendrys Morales. First time he batted last night, he homered into the left field corner.
Having a chance to look at that again and study that just goes to show you the strength of Morales in his hands, his arms, his legs. You know, to be able to hit a changeup that was a couple inches off the outside part of the plate and down and hook it 330 down the opposite field shows you that strength.
Blocked by Fegley. 2-0. Morales has hit in 9 straight following the home run last night. Pitch may have been down. 2 balls and 1 strike.
It's that good changeup. He's going to work that against righties. That's his go-to pitch in this situation with a runner out there. He might double up with it. Kazmir's figured out, like Volquez has, it's not about overpowering guys anymore. It's about locating and pitching and finding your target and changing speeds. That's what makes guys that are older and veteran pitchers more dangerous to face. They're smarter.
And on a 3-1 pitch, he gets a chopper to short with a force on Hosmer 2 in the inning. Chris Young to the mound when we come back. Kansas City against Kansas City. The 1965 Kansas City A's against the Kansas City Royals. And Sam Folds got his 1965 uniform on with his 1985 socks on. I mean, we got a couple of, we've got an era mix up there.
Yeah, I'm going to guess those socks came in late 80s, maybe 90s, because I remember wearing a pair of those. Those are called 2-in-1s. It's one pair, just one sock with a stripe sewn in.
Kia puts us in the driver's seat. And Chris Young, of course, pitched with the Mariners last year, so he saw a lot of the Oakland A's. He appeared in 6 games, 5 of those starts, and 4 of the 5 were quality starts.
It's all about fastball command for the big fella. He's got a nice downhill angle at 6'8", 10 or 11. What is it official, Ryan? Uh-oh.
Well, even with those bad socks, he bangs it off the wall. And Sam Fuld, for a second straight game, has a double. 6'10" to answer your question.
Thank you. So hitters know what they're getting. It's all about his fastball command. He's got to be able to move that fastball around the zone. Keep it down at times, but also he makes a pretty good living popping guys up above the belt. Right there. Fuld just had a nice, easy swing on him. Ball jumped off his bat. He'll mix in a few curves. Fastball curve combination for Young. Occasional change-ups when he feels it necessary. Not overpowering by any means. He'll go 87 to 90 with his fastball.
By the way, with that hit, Sam Fuld is now 5 for 8 against Chris Young. And 2 of those hits are home runs. You don't expect home runs from somebody like Sam Fuld, and he hasn't hit one at all this year, but he has 2 against Chris Young. It's been a good matchup for him on a baseball field. I would still take Chris Young on a basketball court.
Oh, for sure. Bob Melvin was looking for somebody to lead off while their leadoff energetic player Billy Burns is nursing a little sore muscle. He was looking for somebody in that leadoff spot to get him going. Looks like Fuld did that here.
Look at the Royals defensively today, presented by Ford. The Royals committed an error last night. It was harmless. And now Alex Gordon has gone 119 consecutive games without an error.
Well, it amazes me the quality of athletes that are assembled on Dayton Moore's and Ned Yost's ball club. They make it look so easy, but they are human, and it's very difficult. And I said the guy might make a miscue once in a while, but very rarely.
That'll hold Fuld at second base, and Laurie is out number 1, so no advance, and Fuld at second with 1 down.
Right there, Laurie's got to find a way to get that runner over. It's a big inning for the A's to get on the board first.
Well, Stephen Vogt, even though he's on the other team, I think everyone's glad to see him back in the lineup today.
I bet that was on first and foremost on everybody's mind today coming to the ballpark, how he was going to be, and to see his name in that lineup, oh, everybody is a collected exhale. Nobody wants to hurt anyone, especially after that first series of the year at the K. Glad to see him back.
Vogt lost a 7-game hitting streak last night. 2 balls and no strikes. So he's the DH. Josh Fegley is the catcher. And as Joel mentioned, Billy Butler is out of the lineup. That's the only change for Oakland from last night. Royals held them to 2 runs on 4 hits. Delayed call. And 2 balls and 1 strike.
I'm not sure about the delay. Maybe Fielding Colbus.
Damn, Fuld to third, and Chris Young throws it away. Caught the Royals in a shift, and Mike Moustakas had to sprint way over to third base. It would have taken perfect timing to get Fuld, and he ends up scoring on an error.
That's the kind of skill package Sam Fuld brings. And one of the reasons I mentioned that Bob Melvin put him in that leadoff hole. He's got the intangible. He's an aggressive guy, gets a double right away. Look at him, he's taken off. Chris Young, by the time he got to it and threw to Moose, who was a running target, wasn't going to happen. That's called making things happen yourself. He's paying attention. I'm sure that Fuld had it all read out before the game. He's going to be aggressive on the bases. And it looked like he took a boot from Moose in the head.
Yeah, did he get to put it in your words, a cleat sandwich?
He got to look like a cleat or a leg something sandwich. that Moose gave him, but a tough play for Moose to have to run all that way and try to concentrate on catching the ball and put the tag on.
Hit well to left field, but Alex is there. So 2 downs. That ends up being a big play. As if Fuld doesn't execute that play, he's at third base with 2 down.
What Fuld did is he picked up his teammate Laurie for not getting him over.
Because that sacrifice fly would have scored it.
Exactly. There you go. Little things like that, they add up in the game. Now there's that boot sandwich that he got, but he wasn't sure where it was. Of course, the foul ground here he had all day, could have walked home. Spark plug.
Ben Zobrist takes a strike. Zobrist drove in a run in the 9th inning. He was 1 for 3. And he's hit in 5 straight. Starting to get his timing back after missing a large portion of the season after knee surgery. Up the right field line, hooking foul. See Alcides Escobar at the bottom of your screen as they play Zobrist up the middle. Esky right behind second base. Only Mike Moustakas is defending the left side of the infield. That's about as far as Moustakas had to run to third when Fuld took off from second base. A little bit low.
But you know, Oakland, they've got to find a way to somehow get this game here and at least get back in the winning column and get in the minds of the Royals. Good pitch there. And you're going to do it with base stealing. Over 70% of base stealers are successful in Young's career, so you can run on him.
Struck him out. Got him with a slider down and in. The A's get a double, a stolen base, and they take advantage of an error to take the lead.
Leading off the top of the second inning for Kansas City, batting in the 6th position, left fielder, number 4, Alex Gordon.
One nothing A's with the Royals coming up in the top of the second inning. Alex Gordon leads off. He's our most trusted player, brought to you by the most trusted brand, Honda.
But when he recognizes that cookie, man, he gets up underneath it. He can hit it as far as anybody. Strong. Big lift. Struggled a little bit against Casimir in his career, though, but don't really matter. He leaves him something out over the plate, he's going to drive it. He's staying inside of the baseball, and he's getting his walks, making him very productive, seeing more pitches.
Ike Davis was very close to the line, which allows him to get to that ball. One pitch, one away for Kazmir.
Batting in the 7th position, the catcher, number 13, Salvador Perez.
Kazmir is listed at 6 foot. I don't think he is quite that tall, but there was a time when he was a big-time power pitcher, and one time actually led the leagues in strikeouts. There's a strike to Salvador Perez. Kazmir, interesting career. First-round pick of the Mets. And not long into his pro career, they traded him away. Felt like he wasn't big enough to handle being a major league starter, so traded to Tampa Bay, got to the big leagues as a 19-year-old. As a 22-year-old, he led the American League in strikeouts, but then he started to lose it about the time he was 25. And when he was 27 years old, he was pitching in an independent league, trying to get back into organized professional baseball.
Some guys, you know, they have the physical ability, but it takes them a little bit longer to connect the mental muscle.
Salvador Perez just out in front.
The delicate mental muscle of a lot of people are all different, and players develop at different times. It's not always on the team's timetable when they draft you, but he has the skills, and he never gave up, and he stayed at it. Oh, he's nasty now. Got him a lead, and he knows that might be all he gets.
Kazmir's second strikeout, 2 down in the second inning.
Batting in the 8th position, right fielder, number 15.
Some teams just run out of patience on a guy. But a left-handed pitcher saying he's not big enough, that sparks an internal fire in the individual, in the performer. When you hear that once, and he's probably heard that a lot growing up, it just throws another log on there. Makes him more competitive. Gives him a little bit deeper edge. I mean, look at how free and easy his motion is. He's really polished at this time in his career.
Well, the interesting thing about that, Hud, is he was taken in the first round in 2002 out of high school, and 2 years later the Mets had decided that he wasn't big enough to handle being a starter. I mean, it's not like he was in the system for 3, 4, 5 years. Traded him to Tampa Bay, and he thought that was strike 3, but it's a little bit outside to Rios.
Well, the Mets brass obviously must have thought that they had a left-handed Dwight Gooden. Nobody could come up and perform in your teens like Doc Gooden could. That's what they probably were expecting. Oh man,
that was a strike.
He's pounding it.
Rios is pounding, or pointing down, thinking it was too low, but Field and Colbreth rings him up. 3 up, 3 down. Kazmir strikes out 2. Fans, as you know, there is no better place to spend your Friday nights than at Kauffman Stadium, as you can stock up on dollar hot dogs and peanuts for Buck Night, presented by Visit KC, and then stay after the game for a fireworks spectacular courtesy of Hy-Vee and Pepsi. Buck Night and summer fireworks coming up next Friday with the Royals and the Minnesota Twins. And you can get your tickets at Royals.com or 1-800-6-ROYALS. Josh Reddick. 1 ball, 1 strike. He had one of the 4 A's hits last night, and he's hit in 5 straight. Back our way and just below.
I looked at Josh Reddick about 3-4 years ago when I saw him in the league, and I could not believe, speaking of size, how this guy can produce like he produces. And he's just an average height type of guy, not real big at all. Doesn't have, you know, he just a very compact with his swing. He's got strong hands. He's a good athlete, and he can flat out pop it. He's got 10 homers and 45 ribbies. This guy's very productive. I couldn't believe how small he was, though.
3 years ago, he hit 32 home runs in 156 games for the A's, and then had some injury issues the last 2 years. Moustakas fighting the sun and makes the play inside the line. Very bright field, and I remember when Alex Gordon one day here, he had just moved to left field, and Alex was a natural right away. And you could tell when he got called back up from Omaha that his feel for the outfield was there. Where to go, he never looked comfortable. And then we were here for a day game. I don't know what you think, Hud, where this place ranks as far as difficult places to play during the day, but most people will say it is one of the most difficult, and Alex had a day he will either never forget or has totally forgotten.
He whiffed a couple in the sun.
It was and no fault of his. I mean, balls that anyone would whiff, but
yep, no, I agree with you. It's very difficult, and I think it's the structure of the top of the stadium that makes it a high sky.
Not as difficult in right field as it is in left. Rios makes a play on Josh Fegley.
But you pray for cloud cover. A day like today's good. If it's all blue here, you're in big trouble, because that ball goes up in the all blue sky and it turns really small, and it's hard to see it with all the glare and everything. But you see how the stadium is just flat and round, and it just seems like it's more open, and there's more sky in this ballpark. It's the best I can explain it. But the cloud cover's good.
Two down to Ike Davis. Ike Davis, a little bit like Josh Reddick. The same year that Reddick hit 32 home runs, Davis hit 32 home runs for the Mets, which is a great year, but when you do that once, the level of expectation goes up, and you do anything less than that, or you don't come close to that, and it is considered a bad year. Fair ball over the bag. And Ike Davis slides into second base with a 2-out double.
Nothing wrong with the location, just a good piece of hitting by a lefty. Dropped the head of the bat right by Hosmer.
Both hits for the A's today are doubles. Their double last inning was a leadoff double. This one's a 2-out double to Marcus Semien, and he's behind a fastball. No balls and 2 strikes. Chris Young, in his last start on Sunday against the Red Sox, he gave up 7 hits in 4 2/3 innings. All 7 hits were extra base hits. So now the last 9 he has allowed have been extra base hits. And Semien is down in the count 0-2.
That just might take a few innings here. It's 31 pitches now from Young to try to just get himself together and execute his fastball. Find command.
Pretty good swing. 0-2 on Semien.
Semien's been struggling a little bit with runners in scoring position, hitting under 200. The team as a whole, 271 is Oakland. This guy here is kind of a spray hitter, has some opposite field gap power, but he's mainly pull power with his homers.
Oh, Hosmer makes the play. Semien almost ended up with an RBI with an emergency swing.
Nice stroke, though. Hosmer robbed him.
Kansas hospital report, injury report, takes a look at Yordano Ventura, his first rehab start last night. You see the numbers. Talking to Ned Yost, the report he got was that the fastball was up to 97. Pitch count did get up a little bit quickly, but the stuff was good. He felt good. They'll look for one more rehab start and evaluate after that. Another pitcher from the rotation to update for you guys as Jason Vargas, recovering from that flexor strain, 34 pitches in a side session today. Everything went very well. All the reports were positive. Hope to give him one more side session Monday and a simulated game on Thursday. Said that he felt very, very good.
So getting closer to the original starting rotation being put back together.
It's a good sign. They need Vargas. And you know, when I talked to him today about how he felt, he says, great, I'm going to do a simulated game. We have some guys on this bench that need some at-bats. Instead of going to a rehab assignment, he wants to pitch to some of his own players there.
That's a fair ball for Omar Infante. And now the Royals have the tying run at second base with nobody out.
Infante staying with a breaking ball that's down low, and that's exactly what Kazmir likes to do on righties. He throws that breaking ball to the back leg, and that one stayed up. 16th double. Those doubles are second to Morales, has 19 on the team. So Infante's got 16. He's finding some holes out there.
And now one of the Royals' best over the past 2 weeks, hitting with runners in scoring position, Alcides Escobar.
It's an aggressive hitter, Escobar. So pitchers and catchers got to be really careful. Look at Kazmir stepped off and called him. He's going to get called for a balk. Oh yeah, he started in too quickly. He didn't step off and call time. He just came right home. You have to step off and make a clean separation with your foot in the rubber when you're on the rubber. Boy, they'll take it.
Field and Colbert with the home plate umpire made the call, and Bob Melvin wants help. I'm assuming that Bob Melvin and Kazmir felt like time had been called, so you don't have to disengage the rubber.
Watch him.
Was called.
He didn't step off.
Yeah, you're right. And I didn't see anybody raise their hands.
Here's a better angle here.
Ooh.
So there was.
What about the separation of his hands? Did he separate his hands first?
We'll have to get a better explanation. But see, he's saying you came off the mound. So they'll take it. What a break. But now they've got to get the run home. Infield's back. Escobar can see it. Want to stay away from pulling him if you can. Now, if it's a cookie and it's up, you want to drive it for a double, yeah, but don't want to hit to the third baseman here. That's the right idea. Think that middle of the field so you can get that run home.
So here's what we were talking about in the last 2 weeks. Escobar's hitting .529 with runners in scoring position. Excellent pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He can carve up that lower half of the plate with the best of them.
Well above average, getting in a runner from third with less than 2 outs. Got him to chase one out of the strike zone.
That's part of his repertoire as well. Raising the eye plane, using the four-seam fastball up when he knows most hitters are looking down on him. It's an effective pitch. And you can see Escobar, he didn't really see it well, obviously, and it looked like he changed some speeds on it. I'm not so sure that was a changeup. I'm thinking that was a BP fastball. He just kind of threw up there. At 87.
Now the A's bring the infield in for Mike Moustakas. Out into left field. Zobrist getting behind it. Infante comes to the plate. Infante is safe. A sac fly for Mike Moustakas. And the Royals had tied the game.
They had to get that run home. Give credit to Mike Jersley, third base coach. Game like this could be a low-scoring affair. Every single little run you can scratch across is going to make a big difference. And with Infante running very well, that was a no-brainer. Good positioning by Zobrist. Getting in back of the ball, getting momentum coming in. Throw was just offline.
So a double and a balk leads to the sac fly. Lorenzo Cain flied to left field in the first inning. 1-1.
He's sneaky fast. That's fluid, smooth windup. And then all of a sudden it comes out of his hand, and here it is. It explodes. Ooh, nice touch on that changeup.
And for a guy who isn't very tall, and again listed at 6 foot, he is maybe that tall, but he can work downhill. So he strikes out 2 in the inning. And now Kazmir is going to talk to Field and Colbert one more time and figure out why he was called for a balk.
Cost him.
Umpire Field and Colbreth about the balk. Now we've looked at it again. Now Kazmir clearly stepped back. Now the question is, did he turn his shoulders before that foot hit the ground? Before he stepped off the rubber? I think the shoulders, the turn of the shoulders threw off Field and Colbreth.
Yeah, and that's what Melvin was arguing. Hey, how come nobody else in the infield saw it? Or the other umpires?
Well, I don't think Bob Melvin was arguing that. I'm saying that Kazmir lifted his leg and he was in the process of stepping back, but that foot wasn't down yet and he was already turning.
It was funky. His body language, the way he turned. But that's a fortunate break for the Royals, no doubt. He's dealing today. He's got great stuff.
And even if Scott Kazmir believes he did it correctly, that's the first strikeout for Chris Young. Even if he feels like he did it correctly, there's nothing to be gained to hurry up and get to home plate and talk to your catcher, right?
That's one of the many things you're teaching me up here in the booth, Rhino. Slow down. Just slow everything down.
Just step back, step off so everyone knows you step off, then go talk to your catcher.
But he rushed up there and he turned his body in a way where it looked like he was still on the rubber. Cost him.
Sam Fuld doubled into right field against Chris Young. He then stole third, and on the same play, Chris Young throwing to third threw it away, and Fuld scored the A's run.
Well, you got to know who you can shift on when a guy like that's out there running the bases. The shift messed him up. You can't leave a base. Being at second base with speed, a base runner, he sees the third baseman 30 feet off the back. You could beat him there. And that's exactly what Fuld was saying. I'm going to leave now. I'm going to take off.
2-2.
But you know, like Chris Young, look at his body language. Everything's calm, everything's slow. He's able to slow everything down, execute his pitches. Not too jumpy. Beautiful changeup. He's hard to see. He's deceptive. 6'10" against Kazmir, who's 6 feet tall, and these guys are both putting on a pitching clinic.
On the ground to Escobar. 2 outs in the bottom of the third. It is Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite, and throwback day. That's Bert Campaneris. They are honoring the 1965 Kansas City A's, and on the left, one of the great nicknames in the history of the game, Blue Moon Odom. I don't know how cool Blue Moon Odom is. But that name would tell me that he's cool.
He had a character to go with that name. But I got really excited to see Campy Campaneris, my childhood hero. Growing up in Fresno, California, 3.5 hours south of here, I was always Campy Campaneris on the bases when I was in the playground when I'm in the 3rd, 4th grade. The guy was a heck of a player. That's going to land.
And Brett Laurie will check into second base with a double. That's 10 straight extra base hits for the Red Sox and the A's against Chris Young. And he was one of the first to play all 9 positions in one game, right?
That's right. And when he pitched with his right hand and his left hand. Incredible athlete. Campy. Anyway, so the first time I ever got a chance to meet him, it was 1983. I'm in the minor leagues with the Yankees, and George Steinbrenner hired Campy Campaneris at 41 years old in '83. And I'm in a swimming pool. It's one of those moments I remember exactly where I was. And I saw Campy with his luggage coming into the complex, and I came up out of the pool and I yelled, "Viva la Campy! Campy Campaneris!" I was so excited to see Campy. And here we are now on the same team. It was a special moment for me. And I jumped out of the pool, toweled off, man, and I went over to him and green flied him like somebody off the street that was a Campy fan. I couldn't help it.
Perfect alignment for the Royals. Infante out in shallow right field to throw out Stephen Vogt. So we'll let you try and get over that visual of a young redheaded Rex Hudler running out of a swimming pool.
Viva la Campy!
By Panera Bread. Avoid the lines. Order online with rapid pickup at delivery.panerabread.com. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And it is a brilliant Saturday afternoon in the Bay Area. 1-1 tie. The A's got a run in the first inning. The Royals in the third. Nice crowd here today, as we had a nice crowd last night, over 27,000. The A's are playing a lot better after a slow start. Even with their loss last night, they have won 9 of 12. The Royals have won 12 of 17 and have been a draw, not just at home, but they've been a draw on the road as well. Fans got a glimpse of the Royals in the postseason last year. Now want to see them in person. And the Royals have the best winning percentage in the American League. Semien behind second base, throws out Hosmer. He is 1 for 2. And now Kendrys Morales 0 for 1 so far today. Our T-Mobile game changer of the day, with a 9-game hitting streak, 5 RBIs, a 964 OPS. And he's done well against the A's, whom he saw a lot of in his career, playing mostly with the Angels and parts of 2 years with Seattle. Morales grounded into a force out in the first inning. Into left field for a base hit.
Now batting, number 4, Alex Gordon.
That's where you set your sights on Kazmir if you're a righty. But anything lower than that, you'll miss. He hunted it out because it split the plate in the middle. It was right over the middle of the plate. Good short stroke. Kazmir knows he's facing the best offense in the American League as far as the batting average goes, right up there with the Tigers. You miss out over the middle of the plate, chances are you're going to get hit hard, and you hope somebody's behind it.
One and one on Alex. Hit a sharp ground ball up the first base line in the second inning, but the A's had Ike Davis positioned right on the line. Alex had a 3-hit game last night, 2 singles, a home run. He also reached with a walk. Head in the count, 2 balls, 1 strike.
The 3 lefties in Ned's lineup all have done well so far this year against lefties. Gordon hitting .291 with 3 homers coming in. Moose at .280 with 3 homers. And Haas .265 with 3. They're doing their job. It's the righties that are going to have to pick it up.
Left center field, Fold is there to make the play. 2 outs. Running out of time to vote for the Royals. The deadline is next Thursday. You can vote up to 35 times at Royals.com on the official 2015 Esurance MLB All-Star ballot. And then the All-Star game is Tuesday, July 14th on Fox. Salvador Perez, last check, had the most votes of any major leaguer, with well over 10 million.
Salvi has the most home runs against lefties, 4, and he could jump ship here in a heartbeat. Anything that's up out over the plate, Salvi gets up underneath it and he'll leave this yard.
Kazmir's been tough on him today. He got Sal on a strikeout with a half swing in the second inning, and Sal didn't have a full swing there.
No, I haven't seen Salvi take a swing like that in a long time.
Hits it toward the right field corner, and Reddick will run it down. 1 hit, 1 left to the bottom of the 4th, and a 1-1 tie.
takes us to Miami last night, and this is really bad news. Looked okay, but Giancarlo Stanton is hurt, ends up with a broken hamate bone. That's going to take 4 to 6 weeks to heal. Bad for the Marlins, bad for baseball. He leads the majors in home runs and RBIs, and he will be out, missing the All-Star game. Billy Butler, there he is. Still strange seeing him in green. And how about the matchup last night, guys, to end the game between best of friends, Billy Butler and Greg Holland. Holland won the battle with the strikeout. I asked him about it today. He said, didn't even enter my mind. And I said, come on. And he said, no, I'm more focused on the fact that, we're trying to win the game there. I was glad that Reddick didn't get on so Billy could potentially come up with a flair for the dramatic. I mentioned this to Gordon, and he said, there's no way this wasn't a big deal. When I faced Brian Dunsing, my college roommate, for the first time, and he struck me out, I sent him a text later that night. I was angry. He won the battle. And Greg says no messages last night between the two of them. And I said, okay, fine. If that's the case, I'll buy it. Do you think you would have ever heard the end of it if Billy had gotten a hit off of you? He said, most likely yes. And do you think, Greg, that you would have gotten a text last night if he had gotten a hit off of you? Most likely yes. But he didn't. He didn't hear anything from Billy. We'll see if there are any future rounds.
So round one goes to Greg Holland. Stay tuned.
Holland taking the high road. Better believe they were best friends. That meant a lot.
It'll come up at some point.
You better believe it will. Oh, way to go. Catch a little bit of that strike zone there. There's some fastball command. Lower part of the strike zone. Zobrist, very patient hitter. Good eye. He's not afraid to take a walk.
And now he will take a walk. Chris Young's first. And the second time the A's have had the leadoff man on.
Right fielder, number 22, Josh Reddick.
Josh Reddick popped out to Moustakas in the second inning. On Reddick. Bud mentioned that teams will run on Chris Young, and he throws over there. And when you think about the A's and the so-called Moneyball era, the A's were a team that would never run. They would work on a pitcher's pitch count, take walks. They had a lot of power, normally at the bottom of the league in stolen bases, but those days aren't completely over. But the A's are more balanced now. In fact, they have more stolen bases than the Royals do this year. So the A's do have a running game. Not running. And that pitch is a little bit low. 2-1 to Reddick.
I haven't had an opportunity to talk to Billy Beane, the GM, but I'd like to pick his brain and see what he learned about the Royals in that wild card game, beating his team with 8 stolen bases, including Billy Butler's. Believe me, the Royals set the template for the modern day game and how to go deep in the playoffs. With pitching, defense, speed, and a little small ball, getting on base and stirring some things up. So not only Billy has saw the success, but other teams in baseball all are going to try to emulate what the Royals are doing.
Well, the year before, the Tigers decided they needed to be more athletic. They needed to be better on defense, and that's what they pursued 2 off seasons ago.
Be careful here. Hit Salvi away.
Perfect. Escobar backhands out at second. No double play, but the Royals get the lead run.
Yeah, you got to keep the ball away, middle in, and up on this guy because he could one swing of the bat. So that was a good pitch. He stayed away. He hit it hard right to Escobar. Another nice play. He made that look easy.
Number 19, Josh Begley.
Josh Phegley, who's catching for the A's today. Stephen Vogt is the DH. We've seen Phegley with the White Sox. He was a first-round pick of theirs in 2009 out of the University of Indiana.
Reddick 3 out of 4 in steals this year. Young doesn't let the base runners bother him. Now he's going to throw over a couple of times just to get in the back of the mind of the base runner, but he knows the focus is on that hitter. Got to stay on the hitter.
Two and 0. That got the home plate umpire Field and Colbreth, who says he's fine. 2 balls, 1 strike. Fielden Henry Colbreth III.
How about that? If you were any kind of a ball player and your first name was Fielden.
That's what I thought. I always assumed, and I figured this out years ago, but I just assumed that that had to be a baseball nickname. Fielden, you know, was he a good fielder as a kid? Nope. That's a family name. Now Escobar looking up into the sun. Does he see it? Yes, just barely.
Well, you know, Young being a pop-up type pitcher when he's on his game can be a test at this ballpark. We talked about the sun. He's just trying to stay with it there. You put the glove all the way up, and sometimes that ball gets in the sun, but you have to wait a couple of ticks until it comes out, and it'll come out at the last minute. And if it doesn't, that's when you just put your glove out there like Jason Hayward did in St. Louis when he saved the game with that. He just threw his glove up there and it landed in his glove.
That was the equivalent of a football Hail Mary.
Yeah, and it won the game for him.
Yeah.
Amazing how a lot of games are won and lost with the natural conditions day to day in a baseball game. Got to know the elements. Wind, sun, speed of the runners.
Chris Young thinking that Josh Reddick may take off with 2 outs. Reddick does have 3 stolen bases. Not running as Ike Davis fouls it away.
See the shadow underneath Chris Young? You can see it. It's under him and directly behind him. That'll tell you the sun is right on top. That's why it's a high sky. The sun seems to be right in the middle of the field.
And just as you pointed out, a little bit of cloud cover, which the fielders love.
Oh.
Had him reaching. Kane started back and now comes in to end the inning. So we played 4. The A's with 1 in the first inning, the Royals with 1 in the third. here in Oakland, but at least that fan doesn't feel like it's complete without some Boulevard.
Way to represent.
Friday, July 24th is Mizzou Day at Kauffman Stadium. The first 4,500 fans who bring their Mizzou night ticket to the designated table will receive a limited edition black and gold KC Royals Mizzou cap, courtesy of Fox Sports Kansas City and Rally House. That's the Royals and the Astros on July 24th. Royals.com/special events to get those tickets. Alex Rios, Omar Infante, and Alcides Escobar in the top of the 5th inning. Rios struck out looking in the 2nd. He was not happy with the home plate umpire. Thought the pitch was down and out of the strike zone. And now 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, I might be a little frustrated, but that was a tough pitch. That's a pitcher's pitch. They got him.
And now it's Semien fighting that sun. And there is some overcast, so he's not dealing with the full sunlight. And he takes care of Alex Rios. So Omar Infante, who has doubled and scored today, our AT&T Uverse Rewind, takes us back to August of last year when Omar Infante took Scott Kazmir deep into the Royals bullpen.
Let's help him out. See if he can't do it again. Don't have to make a big movement with your front foot. Just gonna wait on him and use those hands. Trust him.
Two balls, no strikes. Infante has very good numbers against Kazmir in his career. Two and one.
And believe me, that plays a big role in the confidence of a hitter. If you've had some success against that day's starting pitcher and you come to the ballpark and you're already going, all right, I'm going to get this guy. And then you can tell by the way he's taken. He's not jumping at all. Of course, he's hot right now. When you're hot, you're not jumping, you're not moving, you're seeing the ball, like they like to say. But that mental edge and confidence is huge compared to facing a guy that you got 1 hit and 20 at-bats off. You're going, oh, man. And then
may have been ball 4.
Yeah, and then when you do face that guy and you're 1 for 20 off of him, you still have to find a way to be positive and say, well, this is going to be my day, I'm going to get him. But when you already have the numbers, confidence is there. Infante's getting a good look at it now. Full count. He's coming in there now. Kazmir, he's got so much command with that changeup. He could throw it 3-2. See if he can throw it off the plate and get Infante to swing at it.
Changeup. 6 strikeouts for Kazmir.
That's a beautifully executed pitch there. 3-2, fastball count. Hitters got to protect against the fastball. And then you pull the string on him. Oh, good smooth arm action. Took just enough off to get him out in front.
And it almost comes in like a slow curve. For a lefty throwing a changeup to a righty, you'd kind of expect it to tail down and away to a right-hand batter, but that thing just kind of loops in. Reddick runs to the line, and that's the inning. A quick inning for Kazmir. 4.5 played. It's still a 1-1 tie. The bottom of the 5th inning. Our Toyota League leaders, the longest consecutive games played streaks. Kendrys Morales is 2nd. Eric Hosmer is 3rd. Wow, that's low when the longest streak right now is 136 games.
Well, I thought you were going to mention Cal's streak.
Yeah.
Think that'll ever be touched?
No. Marcus Semien lined out to Hosmer in the 2nd inning. Slider in for strike 1.
Escobar might be on that list had Laurie not taken him out.
Hunter Pence had a long consecutive game streak. Then he had the broken forearm to begin this year. Prince Fielder had a very long game streak before his neck injury last year. Line foul.
Chris Young gets that high fastball in on those guys, not for a strike, but he continues to live up there, and the hitter says, okay, that was a ball, and then he'll come in with Young will with another fastball about 2 inches lower, and then he gets the pop-up. Gets guys that think they can hit that pitch and pops them right up. Look at that breaking ball. Nice.
Semien is out. That is number 3 for Chris Young. Extraordinary moments happen every day in baseball, but on one night they all happen in one place. Don't miss the 86th All-Star Game. Coverage begins at 6 o'clock Central from Cincinnati, Tuesday, July 14th on Fox. Eric Sogard with 1 out.
Cal Ripken's total games in his Ironman streak, 2,632 games straight.
I think it'll be big news when somebody plays in 1,000 consecutive games. Will that happen again? Forget about Ripken's streak. Will someone play in 1,000 consecutive games?
I agree with you.
Sogard is on with a 1-out hit.
Now batting center fielder, number 23, Sam Ball.
So the Red Sox and the A's had combined for 10 consecutive extra base hits against Chris Young, and now Sogard's single snaps that string, and he's on with 1 out. And now Sam Fuld, who is 5 for 9 in his career against Chris Young.
That'll slow him. That hurt. Must have got him somewhere besides the ankle. No, right on it. Ouch. No shin guard. Right off the ankle bone. That's trouble. Ooh, man. I don't know if he'll be able to stay in the game on that. We've seen guys break their legs at their shin bones on foul balls like that. It looked like to me it's right off of the inside of his ankle bone.
Didn't sound good.
No. It's a tough guy.
By the way, I looked it up. Prince Fielder had a streak of 547 consecutive games.
Wow, that's great.
When he went down with a neck injury for the Rangers last year. 0-1 on Fold. He doubled and scored the A's run in the first inning. He's also grounded out to short.
So after that happened, you throw a guy same kind of pitch that he fouled it off his foot on. Throw it right back there.
Absolutely.
That's unfortunate for Fold. That hurts.
0-2.
Perfect time for that breaking ball. Down. He makes contact. Roll him up and put him in the lane. Let's see how he's running.
Royals pitched out, and Sogard took 2 steps to second base. He did not like his jump, so he hit the brakes, and that was a good choice. The Royals were ready for him running.
They had the right pitch. He just stopped.
Foul. But another good swing for Fold against Chris Young.
Same thing as Infante facing Kazmir. Fold knows he's got great numbers. He's up there battling. He says, I know I can get the hits against this guy.
By Sal, keeps it in front of him, and that keeps Sogard at first base. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Such great technique there by Salvi. I mean, it don't get any better than that. He's able to square that ball up on his chest protector so it doesn't bounce to the left or to the right. Look at him. He cradles it. He uses his arms. He is not going to let that guy go on a ground ball in the third. Really bouncer.
Still 2-2.
Paying attention to detail. That's a big trait for any player, but especially a young catcher like Salvador. Little things turn into big things in this game.
Full count. So Fold comes back from 0-2. The A's are beginning their 3rd time through the order against Chris Young. And facing Chris Young, you go from 137 first time through up to 236 second time through, and then it spikes up to 279. Sogard runs, Fold strikes out, and Escobar keeps that throw from going into center field. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Young, 4 in the game. And now Sogard at second base.
Excellent pitch.
Now batting third baseman.
Took something off of that big time. Nice change up there. That's another 3-2 change, and you're not going to get Sogard even with a perfect throw. It's nice. Twice now we've seen both pitchers, Kazmir and Young, throw 3-2 changeups to get strikeouts.
Brett Laurie grounds it out to Escobar, who backhands and throws wild. The A's take the lead as Sogard scores. The A's, both of their runs, even though the first one eventually became an earned run, both runs have scored on Royals errors. And Oakland leads 2-1.
Unusual to see Escobar make an error like this on a routine play. That's his 8th on the season. And with Laurie at second base, I can guarantee you there's no pleasantries being shared with one another over there.
Both are from the Milwaukee Brewers minor league system. Laurie was traded to Toronto and then traded to Oakland. Stephen Vogt is 0 for 2.
Laurie is a lot like Fold. He's got energy. He's got some speed at second base. Now, with Moose playing off the bag again, same situation we had, but with Stephen Vogt, the leading RBI guy in the league up at the plate, you better make sure you're 100% before you steal third with that guy hit. And Vogt is hitting .415 with a runner in scoring position. But as far as Moose is off the base and Laurie likes his speed, I guarantee he's thought about it already. But probably not in this situation here.
High strike, 2-1. It was scored just simply a 2-base error, no RBI. Two and two. Shallow left, Escobar's out and makes the play. His error gives Oakland a 2-1 lead as we head to the 6th inning. Ended up being earned, the other unearned. Coming up on Tuesday, it's the United States and Germany in the semifinal of the Women's World Cup. The U.S. beat China, Germany beat France. You can watch that at 5 o'clock on Tuesday on your local Fox station or streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Mike Moustakas leads off our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant Eric Schroll from Lenexa. Grounded to Laurie. He is on target. Moustakas drove in the Royals run with a sac fly in the 3rd inning, otherwise 0 for 2 today. And if the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Eric wins $100. We had a $2,500 winner last night. if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park. Eric Schroll from Lenexa wins $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. Scott Kazmir has settled into a groove. He has set down 10 of the last 11 Royals. He has gotten Kane twice. Lorenzo flied to left in the first inning and struck out in the third. Kazmir struck out 6. Oh, 2.
13 and 21 first pitch strikes. He's attacking. You know he's going to be right there. That's why we saw in that first inning a lot of Royals swinging at Kazmir's first pitches.
Wanted to pitch up and got a pitch up. Nice play by the A's ball boy, protecting the Royals down in the bullpen.
Very athletic.
Away, and the Royals appreciate that.
Yeah, look at the guys sitting there. They're not even moving. They had total trust in the young athlete. Don't you know the relievers love being out there? Now, if you like to be exposed with the fans, you're right there. You're sitting a little plywood roof over their head. Some of the relievers sitting on that grass like it's a little Saturday afternoon picnic. Catching some sun, stretching out a little.
Luke Hochevar, Jason Frazier. Two and 2 on Kane. Kazmir also in pretty good shape with his pitch count, 73 with one down in the 6th inning. The Royals would love to get into that Oakland bullpen, and that's what they did in defeating the A's the last time they saw Kazmir. Kazmir gave up 2 runs and 7 1/3, but the Royals got on Eric O'Flaherty and the A's bullpen to win that game. And Kane is on with 1 out.
Okay, coming into this game, Kazmir walked 28 of his 32 walks this year to righties. So there's a walk to a righty. That's a rally for the Royals.
Eric Hosmer.
Don't forget, on the 4th of July at Kauffman Stadium, it's the Royals and the Minnesota Twins, and the first 10,000 fans through the gates receive this Royals trucker-style baseball cap presented by the Kansas City State Company. And then, of course, after the game, a great 4th of July fireworks spectacular. You get fireworks back-to-back on the next homestand, a Buck Night and Fireworks Friday, followed by the 4th of July on Saturday.
Super duper.
Royals need Kazmir to make a mistake. He has only surrendered 7 home runs in almost 89 innings.
Only two to lefties.
Did he go? No. Third base umpire is Paul Schreiber. But remember, last night, Jesse Hahn, the A's pitcher, had allowed the fewest home runs over the last 2 seasons. And the Royals got 2. Morales and Gordon both homered against Jesse Hahn. And it's a much more home run conducive ballpark here during the day than during the night. Stroke to right field, and it'll drop in front of Reddick. Eric Hosmer has a 2-hit game, and the Royals have the tying run in scoring position with just 1 out.
I was just about ready to say, if Hosmer gets a pitch up here 3-1, why not take a shot at it? And he did. The ball was perfectly thrown, and Haas stayed on top of it. And had he got under it, that ball would have been a 2-run homer. So that's a 3-0 hack you want to see. He took a good rip at it. Got him a good pitch. And you know, you earn that right to swing 3-0 when you're Hosmer. Clean-up hitter. This guy extremely dangerous if you make a mistake on Morales.
Royals run. The throw goes to second, and the Royals execute a double steal as Hosmer is able to keep his left toe on the bag.
Very smart move by Ned Yost. You got a guy up there, Morales, who's grounded into 12 double plays this season. Tight game, 2-1. You can't afford for him to roll over into another ground ball, so he puts the guys in motion, and Haas, he ripped that bag off easily. This is a great move by Ned Yost. Now just find a way to stay inside of the baseball. Don't get pull happy.
Almost hit him on the foot.
Because that's what he wants Morales to do, roll over. Hit a little ground ball on those pitches. Those little sliders in. And change-ups away. You have to think change-up away here. And shoot him that way. Reddick's got a good arm in right. Fold has a pretty good arm in center. Zobrist, he's accurate in left.
Got to pitch up, and he lines it into right field. One run is home. Reddick with that strong arm is way offline. Morales goes to second, and the Royals take the lead.
Wasn't trying to hit the big homer. He simply wanted to keep the line moving. A tremendous base hit there by Morales. Hitting .338 with runners in scoring position. That's your money guy. He looked him up. He stayed inside the ball. He hit the ball to right field just like you want to do. Hosmer, great takeaway at second base. I don't know if a good throw would have gotten him. And that's guts and glory. Ram, drive of the game.
So this is the way the Royals go when they're playing well. The other team scores and the Royals come right back. That's a team leading 48 RBIs. The Royals, I'm sure, feel like they gave the A's the run in the bottom of the fifth inning on the air. And the walk, the single, the double steal, and the Royals lead for the first time today.
That man right there sitting in that dugout, man, he gives Rusty Kuntz a lot of credit, but I guarantee you he gave Rusty the sign to steal those guys. Excellent move. Big part of the ball game here in game 2 of the series. Royals can hang on. They'll get their 2 games that they wanted here, at least. Long way to go. There are none better as far as coaches go, period.
It's like he has 7 eyes. I mean, he sees the whole field. Fascinating to talk to Rusty Kuntz. If in fact it was his call to send the runners, or if it was Ned Yost's call, Rusty would give you 5, 6, 7, 8 reasons why the Royals ran there, based on Kazmir, based on where the defense was, based on the count, based on the hitter,
and where the sun was. I mean, all kinds
and what
of things.
Rusty had for breakfast this morning.
It's also, he would throw that in there, but he's so fun to talk to because he's always out early. Rusty is. He's always stretching in the grass, and he loves to talk baseball.
And now Alex whacks it to the right side. Sogard makes a great play, a tumbling, rolling play. And that may have saved a run. So Morales advances to third with 2 down.
That's what Kazmir was looking for. Somebody to pick him up on the infield with a big out. That play was by him.
Number 13, Salvador Perez.
It looked like that ball was heading into the outfield. Sogard was able to trust those soft hands.
People connected with the A's will tell you this is the best defensive year that Eric Sogard has had. Got a lot of playing time when Ben Zobrist went down with the knee surgery on a team that has been very poor defensively. Salvador Perez takes one across the knees. He is 0 for 2 so far against Kazmir. And now 4 out of 17 in his career against Kazmir. One of those hits is a home run. Oh, and 2. Royals executed this quite a bit last night. The best in the league with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Morales is at third with 2 down. Royals have scored 2 in the inning to take the lead. Ground ball, and Sogard is there again and makes another run-saving play. But Kendrys Morales drives in Kane and Hosmer. Set up by the double steal. Morales leads the Royals with 48 RBIs, and we go to the bottom of the 6th with the Royals ahead by 1. Kendrys Morales with a 2-run single to put the Royals in front. We remind you to vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com, and you'll be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. 48 RBIs to lead the Royals. Still the top vote getter in the American League, a designated hitter. That ties Morales with Prince Fielder for 5th in the American League in RBIs. 2 runs allowed by Chris Young, 1 unearned. And the unearned run came in the bottom of the 5th inning. Oakland had just regained the lead, and the Royals answered with 2 in the top of the 6th. So a big inning here. Young trying to get through 6 and hand it off to the bullpen. Escobar throws out Zobrist. Ben Zobrist is 0 for 2.
Well, you know, that little vote party they're going to have at the Power and Light District next Wednesday, that might be the icing on the cake that gets our guys in for a record number of Royals in that All-Star game. This is a special year, folks. I don't know if we'll ever have another year like this with as far as Royal Blue in the All-Star game. Ned's entire coaching staff and 7 guys as starters. Oh, it's going to be a beautiful thing. And the American League is trying to win.
And Ned has been asked that question many times. You know, how is he going to manage that game? Because the Royals are expecting to get back to the World Series again. And whether you like the rule or not, it's there. The winner of the World Series has home field advantage, which meant the Royals had home field advantage last year because of the All-Star game that was played in Minnesota. So the Royals didn't win the World Series, but in the end they played more home games than the Giants did. Squirted off the end of the bat. And Moustakas throws out Reddick. 2 down in the bottom of the 6th.
Ryan, I believe the Royals baseball team, all 25 guys, could take on a National League All-Star team in one game and win. I believe it.
The catcher, Number 19.
Well, the way the voting's going right now, that might be what we see.
Yeah. It's a one game, and just one game in baseball, anything can happen. That's why those one-game wild cards are unbelievable. And we saw a doozy last year. Hope that doesn't happen again. People, emotions were running wild.
Into left field, and Fegley was off balance just enough. Chris Young, 96 pitches, 6 innings, 1 earned run, and the Royals go into the 7th with the lead.
Outstanding.
Right stuff, low price every day. And by your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. Alex Rios, Omar Infante, and Alcides Escobar against Scott Kazmir with pitch number 89. Crowd of over 28,000 is here today, larger than last night's crowd. Rios has struck out and popped to short. Slow curveball, 72 miles an hour. 0-2 on Rios.
That's a beauty.
When the Royals have had a lead after 6 innings this year, they are 34-3. Rios up the middle and into center field. So down in the count, shortened his swing, and singles leading off the 7th.
Kazmir has really pitched the ball well. He's done a great job. There's only one thing, if he could change,
Now batting, number 14.
he would have made sure to call timeout when they called a balk on him and step off the rubber, and they would have never scored that run. And then,
Yeah, you know, looking at the replay, HUD, even though he was stepping up, I still think it was a balk.
yeah, the way his body turned, the way he presented that whole
Started
thing
turning his shoulder
as he was moving forward.
As he was stepping back. Yeah, he had not gotten that foot on the ground behind the rubber.
No, but his body was leaning forward when his foot was coming off, so it was very tricky.
Almost like he was unintentionally tempting the umpire to do something. I mean, just keep it simple. Just step off and then go talk to your catcher. You don't get any extra points for hustling on a step off.
No.
Good hustle.
No. Could hurt you. And that'll be talked about after this game, I'm sure. But really, you got to credit Ned Yost for the double steal. I only remember one time earlier this year when they attempted that. That was when Kane was at third, and Hosmer, I believe, went and he stopped, and Morales was up, and it didn't work.
Here's the balk we're talking about. See, he's turning his shoulder before he's rotating from left to right before that foot hit the ground.
And I saw Field and Colbert come up out of there. He pointed right away and he walked towards the mound. I knew he called a balk on it. Because it looked like it.
So the A's can say, well, he stepped off.
Okay, watch the umpire. Watch Fielden. Right away, he sees it. And he calls it. Calls what he sees. Sharp, heads up.
Popped up. Davis wants it. And Fonte is 1 for 3. "97 pitches for Kazmir, and now they're working in the A's bullpen.
Championship caliber teams like the Royals, they find ways to win games like this. They do whatever it takes. They have the weapons. They've got the speed. They've got some guys with power, and they've got some guys that can put the bat on the ball, make some contact, make things happen. They're aggressive. And they're extremely confident. They have a swagger that they've developed going way back, not just to last year, although last year they believe, now they believe in themselves and they know what they can do, but it's been forming.
Escobar reached with an infield single in the first inning. He's 1 for 3. And it was his throwing error in the 5th inning that gave the A's a lead for a brief period of time as the Royals came back in the next half inning and scored 2. Broken bat in half, ball and bat going in the same direction, and the A's don't quite turn the double play. They do get Rios at second base. Good concentration by the shortstop Simeon.
Sure was, and by Sogard to stay on the base. You can't get 2 unless you get 1, and both the bat and ball are coming right at him.
Number 8, Mike Moustakas.
Watch Sogard. He can stay on that base. Stays on there with his left foot. Fundamentally sound.
Mike Moustakas is hitless. He has a 10-game hitting streak, but he has contributed today with a sacrifice fly. That tied the game at 1 in the 3rd inning. Oakland took the lead 2-1 in the bottom of the 5th. The Royals regained the lead with 2 in the 6th. Davis right at the bag, fair ball. Not reviewable. Stretch time in Oakland. The Royals lead 3-2.
Day in Oakland. Panera takes us around the league. Not such a nice day in places that American League Central teams were playing. Chicago and Detroit postponed. Cleveland and Baltimore postponed. Minnesota did win, so as of right now, the Royals 4 games up. And then New York and Houston, Yankees doubling up. Houston, Ryan Madson is in. I can tell you on that Minnesota game, Ryan, that Torrey Hunter homered twice in that game. It's the first time he's done that since 2012.
Well, apparently he still has some playing to do, Torrey Hunter. He might even come back again next year. Royals have pursued him a couple of times as a free agent, but I don't think anyone could blame him for wanting to go back where it all started this year.
Yeah, nah, he's in the right place.
Ryan Madson with a 1-run lead in the bottom of the 7th inning. Not Kelvin Herrera. Herrera, by the way, it was not a save situation at the time, but Herrera came on last night and pitched the 8th. And then Morales started the 9th, created a save situation for Holland, who closed it out. So not the prototypical roles the last 2 games here in Oakland.
With the bullpen designed like it is, with the horses that he's got, you're going to see Ned bringing guys out like Madson. He's a mauler. He's got a great fastball, good changeup. You know, he's got options now. The bullpen is deeper. We don't always know what's going on with the health of the guys in the bullpen. That's stuff that not for the media. That's for just in-house, so we never know what's going on. But when you have options like Madson, that's not a bad option. Fastball, changeup combination, a couple of sliders he might break in.
Two and two on Davis.
Davis is in trouble. That high fastball set up the changeup that's coming. That changeup will come out of the same plane as the fastball, and then the parachute just pulls it out. It just slows down. See if he calls it.
Here it comes. 3-2. Davis, Simeon, Sogard, the 7, 8, 9 hitters against Madson.
And Madson, taking a little bit of time to get back on the mound, didn't execute that pitch. He puts that where he wants it, down over the plate. It's away. He gets him to swing and miss off. Might double up with it.
That'll be pulled out of play.
He did 2 changeups in a row. What's he going to throw here? Anyone's guess. Go back to the fastball.
Just nicked it foul. They've got Salvi on the tip of his thumb. Of his glove hand. That glove is just dangling around his wrist.
Yeah, he needs a little time to walk that one off. Let's see where it hit him. Yeah, right on the thumb.
And while they talk, we will show you a Mazda game break in Milwaukee. Joel talked about the 2 home runs hit by Torrey Hunter. This is number 2 to dead center field. So the Royals need a win today to remain 4.5 up on Minnesota in the Central. Everyone just keeps waiting for Minnesota to fade away. They are 6 games above 500 with that win. They reach 40 victories, 40 and 34. With the win today, the Royals would get to 15 games above 500 for the first time this year. Ike Davis takes a leadoff walk. Marcus Semien. 0 for 2 today, 0 for his last 12. He is lined to first and struck out. Very late on that fastball. 92 miles an hour. 0-1 on Semien.
Bean has a pinch runner that he likes to use in Mark Kahana. Mark Canha. He's got 5 stolen bases. Watch for him to come here later in this game.
Grounded back to Madsen. Low throw. Escobar handles it and turns it into a double play.
Madsen had time. Wasn't the exact feed he wanted to give to Escobar, but when you have those kind of hands playing behind you, it doesn't matter. Just get in the vicinity.
28.
When you're going to the base as an infielder and the pitcher's throwing to you, you are expecting a bad throw. You can't expect a perfect throw, and Escobar was ready for that.
Eric Sogard takes a strike. He is struck out and scored a run. That was on a throwing error by Escobar in the 5th inning, which puts the A's in front for 1/2 inning. And that's a strike. 0-2.
Double play really lifted Madsen.
And now Escobar charges, throws on the run in the dirt. Hosmer helps him out. The inning begins with a leadoff walk, but the A's only bat 3. Kane, Hosmer, Morales coming up. They got a 2-run rally started in the 6th inning. By Miller Lite.
Yeah, it's those guys in the middle of that order stirring it up. Morales with a huge hit off Casimir. Taking that fastball, just getting it done with a lousy single. Plated 2. Kane and Hosmer. Morales driving the bus.
Royals will see a new lefty, Drew Pomeranz.
Lorenzo Kane.
With Kane, Hosmer, and Morales coming up. Pomeranz started the year as a starter. He made 8 starts. And at the beginning of this month, he transitioned to the bullpen and has pitched a lot better there than he did as a starter. As a reliever, Pomeranz has a 1.86 ERA. As a starter, a 4.4 ERA.
90 to 95 with his fastball. He's got a knuckle curve and a changeup.
Grounded fair. So the 1-run lead in the 8th inning. Lorenzo Cain will be at second base with nobody out.
Everybody that knows baseball knows the importance of an insurance run late in the game. Knuckle curve, there it is. Index finger up. Started up high and ended up on the inner half. And Lorenzo Cain, no problem with his 13th double. Just hooked it around the bag there. Lori, nice try. Ball was by you.
Eric Hosmer has a 2-hit game, a stolen base, and a run scored. And he goes the other way, hits it hard, but right at Zobrist. And now the difference in the game. Kendrys Morales with the Royals down by 1 in the 6th inning and 2 runners in scoring position. Morales picked up his 2nd hit of the game. He drove in Cain and Hosmer to make it 3-2, and that's where we are now in the 8th inning.
Morales, 1 out of his 9 homers is from the right side of the plate. But he's been doing damage, hitting .298 from the right side. 5 doubles.
Fastball at 92, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Those numbers that I just gave were facing a lefty. Ooh, he wants that one back.
Only Morales and Rios have seen Drew Pomeranz in a big league game before today. Kendrys is 0 for 1.
It's a little inside out move there to freeze the runner.
One and 2. Now Fegley's going to go out and have a chat with Pomeranz. Last year, playing for Minnesota and Seattle, Kendrys Morales had fewer home runs and RBIs than he does right now in 71 games with the Royals. He has 1 more home run and 6 more RBIs than he did all of last season. That's why a lot of people initially were unimpressed when the Royals signed Kendrys Morales. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
So a lot of that is his ability, for sure. He has the ability, but the other part of the equation is he fits in well with this team. He's energized. He brings energy of his own. A big smile on his face. He's happy to be in there hitting.
just outside with a curve. 3-2.
And that might have been a good spot because that was a hanger. If that's over the middle of the plate, he hits that out of the park. He recognized it, but then he was able to lay off it as he realized it was not going to be there.
And he will take a walk.
And why not? That's a great plate appearance there. If he's not going to give you anything, let the next guy do it. Kurt Young, he's going to come out and talk to Pomeranz saying, look, now I know this guy hits on the left side of the plate, but if you hang any breaking balls to him, this game's over.
Pomeranz was a first-round pick of the Cleveland Indians, and before he got to Cleveland, he was part of a controversial trade. Remember, out of the blue, it seemed like in 2011, Cleveland sent 3 of their top prospects to the Rockies for Ubaldo Jimenez, who really never did much with the Indians.
Number 4, Alex.
And Pomeranz never really did much with the Colorado Rockies over the course of 3 years, never a full season. And now in his second year with the A's, and maybe his future is as a reliever. Two on, one out. Fastball strike at 93.
I bet Alex was thinking the hook was coming first pitch there. It's not where he wanted it anyway. He's looking middle in. Any kind of a hanging breaking ball or fastball middle in there, he's looking to turn on it.
Marcus Simeon's going to go and have a little chat with Pomeranz and say, hey, next time you do that, make sure I'm covering at the bag, all right?
That or worry about the hitter. That double steal earlier, that got their attention.
Oh, 2. Alex had a 3-hit game last night, which included a home run. He is 0 for 3 today, but he lost a hit and possibly an RBI on a sliding play by the second baseman Sogard in shallow right field in the 6th.
Look for Alex to shorten up his swing here. Take a page out of Moose's book.
One and 2.
That was a good pitch.
Had a hanging breaking ball there and was shortening his swing as you predicted.
Yeah, he's done well, you know, against lefties this year. It's been impressive. 291 with 3 homers coming into this game. He's doing that by shortening up with 2 strikes.
Out of play.
Staying alive.
Talked about it last night. The Royals, if you go by ERA, have the best bullpen in the American League. The A's have the second worst bullpen in the American League. And again, Pomeranz focusing on second base with nobody there to cover.
Might be a little nervous up there. Whenever a pitcher does that, he's not ready to throw. He's not truly convicted on the pitch coming.
Got him with the fastball. 94 miles an hour. 2 down in the 8th inning.
He did an excellent job pitching to Alex there. Good, smooth, easy fastball. Had Gordon looking for a breaking pitch probably. That fastball in got him. I think he's going to leave him in there to face Salvi.
He's got a right-hander ready to go, and he will call on the right-hander. So Pomeranz will leave behind 2 runners. Evan Scribner, who pitched last night, will try to get the final out and face Salvador Perez.
Now pitching for the Athletics, number 58, Evan Scribner.
Royals stay in San Francisco when they're playing here in Oakland. The Giants are also home. It's very rare to have the 2 teams playing at home at the same time. San Francisco is playing the Rockies. One more game tomorrow before the Royals head to Houston. Jeremy Guthrie tomorrow against Jesse Chavez, a favorite of our television director. Coverage begins at 2:30 with Hy-Vee Royals Live, and the first pitch at 3 o'clock Kansas City time.
The Rockies have an extended stay. They face the A's coming in on Monday.
Evan Scribner. Fouled back by Salvador Perez. Scribner came on in relief last night of starter Jesse Hahn and pitched a scoreless 7th inning. He did not face Salvador Perez in that inning.
Kind of has some crossfire action with his body. 88 to 92 and a big curve. He's closed on the mound there. Sometimes that can be a deceptive angle for a hitter. 2 fastballs away to Salvi. He's got a big curve, but he better be careful and not hang it 0-2.
Salvador, like Alex Gordon in the 6th inning, lost a hit and an RBI on a fine play by Sogard at second base. Otherwise, this is a 4-2 game in the 8th inning. Kane doubled to start this inning. Hosmer lined to left. Morales walked. And now with 2 down, Scribner trying to finish off the Royals in the 8th. Shallow right. And Reddick brings it down, and that is the inning. Royals leave 2 on base. Wade Davis will pitch the bottom of the 8th with a 3-2 KC lead. And Wade Davis will get the top of the A's order. Sam Fuld, Brett Lawrie, and Stephen Vogt. And Wade Davis continues to dominate this year. He has pitched in 31 innings and has allowed 1 earned run.
Wade Davis, 132 opponent average. ERA, beautiful, 0.29. Does it all with 3 nice pitches. Fastball, he'll go anywhere from 90 to 97. He cuts it as well, in the low 90s, and he's got a nice overhand curveball.
Fuld doubled and scored the A's run back in the first inning. He struck out in the 5th, and before doing so fouled the ball right off of his ankle, and now he has an ankle guard on. 1-2. Fuld turns away in frustration as he didn't take a rip at that.
No, his ankle's still bothering him. Believe me, that's going to last for a week, maybe longer.
Two and 2.
And he's probably not comfortable with that on his leg. I know some guys that are runners, they're speed guys, don't want anything on their feet. Slow them down.
Or at least it feels like it's going to slow him down, right?
It does. Yeah, you don't want
conscious of that feeling down there.
Nothing binding you. Anything that's strapped on your leg, it doesn't feel natural.
Leadoff walk. Davis was ahead in the count. Let's take a look at our sprint cuts of the game for the A's against Chris Young.
Had that invisible working. Change-up, curveball, fastball. Using all areas of the strike zone, using that defense. A lot like Volquez, taking a page from Eddie. Great job.
Bullpen trying to hold it for him. Leadoff man on for Brett Lawrie. And now Davis misses down and away, ball 1.
Davis didn't want to walk Fuld, I can tell you that.
Fuld has 5 stolen bases. He has been thrown out twice. He does not have a big lead. And Lawrie grounds it to first base coach Ty Waller. Laurie's done well against Davis in the past, 3 for 6 with a double.
Davis wants to put him in the lane. He's grounded into 5 this year, as Lawrie.
Ryan Madsen in the 7th inning began his outing with a walk, but then made a good pitch to Marcus Semien and hit it back to Madsen, who started a 1-6-3 double play. Two and 1, and Davis showing a little frustration.
Fuld doesn't have a very large lead.
Fuld has a little bigger lead. He's not running. And Lawrie hits it in the air to right field. Well hit. Rios at the wall. And it's a foul ball.
Rios, nice job of covering that 330 line. If that would have stayed fair, he would have caught it. Hitter knew what was coming. Fastball right down the middle. Laurie focusing on hitting that ball to right field, hoping to get a base hit and full all the way to third base. Sliced it a little too much. Maybe it's time for the yellow hammer.
Throw him a cutter. 3-2. And now how confident is Bob Melvin that Laurie will make contact? And will he send Sam Fuld? Yes. Fouled away.
Last pitch at 92. Like he tried to use his cutter there. Still, that's down the middle. Laurie would like to do more with that than that foul ball there. He's gotten a couple pitches in this at bat to do something with.
Fuld runs again, and it's outside. Back-to-back walks to begin the bottom of the 8th inning.
Davis having some mechanical issues as he pulled that fastball. He threw a couple down the middle to Laurie. He couldn't get any good wood on it, but he held on to that one a little bit too long there.
Designated hitter, number 21, Steven Lowe.
Wasn't even close.
Well, Davis knows how to get out of these. On the last homestand, remember, in a 3-2 game, he loaded the bases with one out. He was behind Aramis Ramirez 3-0. He came back to get Ramirez and get the next out, and the Brewers didn't score. And now the A's best hitter and Salvador Perez may have saved the game right there. That ball gets by Sal. You got runners at second and third and nobody out.
He's going to need to pull out some pitches here to get out of this one. He's facing one of the most dangerous hitters you can face in a situation like this. Vote 403 with runners in scoring position and the most RBIs in the American League. And Davis falling behind.
Here comes Dave Island.
Yeah, gotta have a little mechanical adjustment here. Hopefully Dave could talk him into a nice little 4-6-3 double play. Vogt has only grounded into 3 double plays this year. Got to get that shoulder going back downhill again and not pulling off. He's pulling off his shoulder. That's usually the culprit for Davis.
Well, the inning started with Davis ahead of Sam Fuld in the count. Fuld fouled off some pitches and earned a walk. Laurie walked, and now 3-0 to Vogt. 3-1. Wade told me after that outing against the Brewers, he said, I had no idea where the ball was going, but he just kept competing and got out of it. So he's been there, done that before, just trying to find the right pitch, the right arm slot. And now it's 3-2.
It's a good spot. May have been ball 4, but if you're Vogt, you're looking for a good pitch to drive there. 3-1, fastball coming. Close enough.
Strike 3 called. Huge out for Wade Davis. And apparently the pitch that works is the cutter.
Oh, and that's all it took to freeze Vogt. Davis getting up from being down 3-0. Coming back in the cutter right at the last minute. Salvi, nice job of helping him out there, making that look good. And Vogt knows you got to go.
And he is mad at himself. He was not mad at the home plate umpire. And now former teammates Ben Zobrist and Wade Davis with the Rays. And Zobrist is 1 for 4 against Wade Davis. Grounded back to Wade. Out at second. Double play. And for the second consecutive inning, walks begin the inning, but a double play turns the inning around. Both times a double play started by the pitcher.
Waiter, check please.
A couple times over the past 2 weeks, we've seen that he has the concentration to stay focused when he has no idea where the ball's going, and comes back and starts the inning with a couple of walks, and in the end the A's hang another 0 on the scoreboard. Our copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation.
And along with those skills you mentioned, he has the ability to slow the game down. He's learned that. Great example, that double play ball there, right back to him. Took his time, got his feet up underneath him, gave Escobar a good enough feed to get it done. Second big double play turned by the Royals today.
Alex Rios is 1 for 3. This is the third time that Rios has led off the inning. Evan Scribner came on for the last out of the 8th. He'll stay on for Rios, Infante, and Escobar. Popped up to Simeon. Sun really hasn't been a factor today.
Wade Davis, after the waiter picked up the check, there was a huge sigh of relief there as his teammates were saying, "You are really good."
Coming up after the game, Boulevard Royals Live with Joel. Hoping for a guest on the field. That means a Royals victory. Hear from Royals manager Ned Yost. Other reaction from the clubhouse. Infante pounds it foul outside of third base. Omar doubled and scored the Royals' first run back in the third.
After he was balked to third by Kazmir, and then Jersh scored him on a close sacrifice fly.
And that's popped up. And Fegley almost stepped on Infante's back. 2 down. Greg Holland in the bottom of the ninth will have Reddick, Fegley, and Davis. And we'll see if Bob Melvin goes to his bench and sets up another Holland-Butler duel.
Very possible.
Outside to Alcides Escobar. He is 1 for 4. Off the end of the bat, Sogard has been all over the place today. He will throw out Escobar, and that ends the top of the 9th inning. Greg Holland saved last night's game. And here he comes for the bottom of the 9th today.
Hammer time.
Home runs comes to the plate in a 1-run game in the bottom of the 9th inning. And Greg Holland, who nailed down the final 2 outs last night for his 15th save, goes for number 16 as the Royals go for the series, which would make it 4 straight winning series against Oakland. Reddick, Fegley, and Davis. Left-hand batter, right-hand batter, left-hand batter.
Steady as she goes. Strike one. Holland will tell you it's his best pitch.
Reddick is 0 for 3 so far today.
Two for 5 in his career against Holland. Holland knows how difficult this job is, especially on the road. Trying to get the final 3 outs, not easy.
Chopped out to Escobar. In time for out number 1. So at least by the numbers, that was the biggest home run threat for the A's. That ball stayed up.
79 miles an hour. He's got one a little slower than that, but it was effective. It hung up there, and Reddick saw it and got excited. His eyes got big, and he topped it. I'm watching Billy Butler down there, and he's not moving from his perch.
Josh Phegley 0 for 2 against Greg Holland and 0 for 3 today. Chris Young went 6, gave up 2 runs, 1 unearned. Madsen and Davis pitched scoreless innings. Madsen got into trouble in the 7th inning with a walk and then helped himself by starting a big double play. Davis got into trouble in the 8th inning with 2 walks and then saved the inning by starting a double play. 1-2.
Beautiful slider. Fastball, low to mid-90s. Change-up, slider. Excuse me. Split finger slider. He doesn't throw a change-up.
Two down. Fastball at 95.
Little high cheese. Phegley got to go. Very effective with 2 strikes on a hitter after you showed him that slider. He thought the slider was coming. That surprises the hitter when you go fastball up there like that. Great sequence.
Let's go Royals chant coming from the first base right field side of the Coliseum. And now some of the A's fans are trying to drown that out with a "Let's go Oakland."
Can't do it.
Fastball strike, 94 miles an hour.
You can hear the Royals fans all over the country. You can't drown them out.
Ike Davis faces Greg Holland for the first time. Ooh, man. Good luck.
Ike Davis has to be telling himself, are you kidding me? Look at that. He's going, wow, that was some kind of breaking ball. Had some quick overhand bite on it.
One and two. The A's have 1 hit since the 4th inning. They've had some base runners because of an error and some walks, but only 1 hit. Grounded just foul outside of third base, out where Tyler Clippard is warming up. He's the A's closer in case the A's tie it or take the lead. If they take the lead, the game is over. If they tie it, they got the closer ready just in case.
It was a pretty good emergency hack by Davis. That's all that was. And he almost got lucky and kept it fair.
Salvador Perez wants to end the game with a slider down. Just nicked foul.
And if you're Davis, his last 2 swings are all defensive, taking him out of his game. And he's just trying to fight to stay alive. That's how filthy Holland's stuff is right now.
Looks like Kirk Gibson in the 1988 World Series.
Yeah, hopefully with a different result here.
Struck him out.
Woo! The bottom fell out of that baby. Hammer down. Series.
And for the first time this year, the Royals are 15 games above 500. It means the Royals have a winning month of June. Royals have won 13 of their last 18. And they have really given the Oakland A's a bad time. If you include the wild card game, the Royals